I was right at the edge. I was with my two friends. We were worried. We didn't know what was going to happen. Should we jump? Should we not? I don't know. And then without even thinking it, I jumped. I made that leap. And I was falling. And it felt like forever. And then all of a sudden a splash. And I went underwater. And I came up, grasping for air. And I did it. Guys, I jumped off a huge cliff. A cliff that I was not going to jump off. I was fearful. I was afraid. I've done it numerous times, but still, even when I climb up on that edge, I still am fearful. But what made me jump? I just did it. I didn't think about it. The more I sat up there and thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, the more I wanted to say, no, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do this. And I'm thinking about all the outcomes. And then I realize, just do it. Guys, today we're going to be talking about tips for overcoming your fears. You know, that was when I was in Hawaii and I had two other my friends. And they were actually, my other friends, they were like, man, Christian, you just jumped off that so quick. Like, dude, I felt like a little girl up there, like a little teenage girl. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm afraid, And I said, honestly, I was afraid too, but I just did it. I just jumped because I've done it numerous times that I know that that's just my cycle. If I'm up there longer than, a minute, I know I'm going to quit and leave. You know what I mean? I'm just afraid, right? People, what are you afraid of most? The truth of the matter is that we all have something that we fear. However, choosing to let that fear debilitate you or simply guide you is the difference in whether or not fear will overcome you or you will overcome fear. While some individuals are braver than others, it may be easy for others to make light of your fears. It is easy sometimes for others to simply tell you not to be afraid. However, in really conquering fear, there are some useful and handy tips that you could use to put your fear to rest. Face them head on. This is not going to be fun. This is not going to be exciting. It's going to push your comfort zone. Okay, you're not going to be comfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But that's where change happens. One of the quickest and most efficient ways to overcoming fear is to face it head on in your life. For example, if you need to speak in front of others, the best way to really overcome that fear is to do it and get it over with until next time. For example, when I was building a business, when I was 18 years of age, I was building a business and man, I was afraid. I was listening to a lot of audios and I had an interview and I had to basically, my job was to recruit people. But I was afraid and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know how to talk to people. I don't know how to have a conversation. What I did was I would listen to a whole bunch of audio. And it was actually really funny because when I was interviewing this one person, I was so afraid and I was like, oh yeah. But I was listening to this audio that basically gave me the dialogue. And what I did was I had my iPad open and I literally had the questions written down and then like basically what to say. It was like word for word. Like, oh, so how is your day doing today? Good. What do you do? And it was just boom, boom, boom. And the reason why sometimes people are always like, Christian, you're really good at like being able to just dialogue and have a conversation and really get to know someone and it just flows so well. And it's like, well, that was because when I was 18 years of age, I was freaking afraid and it was uncomfortable. And that was fear. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I hope that they cancel. I hope that they don't show up, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, guess what happened? They showed up and I was like, oh, crap, and I had to embrace that. I had to acknowledge it. And then all of a sudden I realized that sometimes, hey, it wasn't going to kill me. It's not. Another example is if you're a writer and afraid of that first rejection letter, go ahead and submit anyhow. So many best-selling authors receive rejections since the history of time. Go ahead and take action anyhow. You will find that each experience will make you stronger for the next. Acknowledge them. Acknowledge your fear. One of the best ways to overcome a fear is to acknowledge it. Do not be ashamed of your fear. Know that it is real and it exists in your life and do not hide it from others. If you are afraid of heights or small spaces, that is something to be ashamed of. That is nothing to be ashamed of. Excuse me. It is simply part of who you are. Something that I fear, and I'm going to be honest with you, I really want to share this with you. I want to be very open and authentic. Okay? I literally, and I even think about this. I don't want to get to my end of my life and say, I wish I would have. I want to get to the end of my life and say, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did everything I possibly could. Not, I wish I would have taken that opportunity. I wish I would have, taken that leap of faith. I wish I would have, embraced more. I wish I would have. I wish I would have. I wish I would have. I wish I would have, right? I want to stand firm and saying, I did everything possible. Whether at the end of my life I succeed or not, as long as I know I put it all that I have. This is something I had to grow with because, see, I would listen to a lot of podcasts about working out because I was one of those people. I don't really enjoy going to the gym. I don't see myself in the gym for hours upon hours. But then what I started realizing is it impacts my life holistically. It's very interesting, and I've studied that. And I realized that, and so I'm like, well, I gotta schedule this in. And so then all of a sudden I'm starting to enjoy it because I found something that I enjoy. I'm not one of those people that I want to get huge and massive and weight lift, but I want to look good for my wife, right? And so that's what motivates me. But one of the things that I fear the most is that is I guess really not investing into my health and being at the end of my days and die because I wasn't focused on a healthy lifestyle. So anyways, acknowledge your fears, realize your fears. Let others know your fears, but only if you trust them completely. And if others find out your fears and try to use them against you, do not give them power to do so. Let them know that you are not bothered by them knowing your fears. The sooner you acknowledge those fears, the sooner they lose their momentum. It's all about intentionality, and it's all about really being conscious decisions, making conscious decisions. One of the things definitely in my story earlier on is, I was very fearful on talking to people. I was very, I had braces. I didn't look good. I was young, blah, blah. I mean, who's going to trust this person, right? But then all of a sudden, what did I do? It was a matter of what I spoke about and how I spoke about it with commitment and conviction. And all of a sudden people said, oh, wow, I want to follow you. Yeah, this is awesome. Take action. Like I said, when I was up on the top of the precipice of the mountain and the cliff and I jumped off, I just took action. That's one of the things, once you have acknowledged your fears and face them head on, continue to take small action steps daily to keep those fears in check. When faced with the choice of the elevator or the stairs, take the elevator if you are afraid of them. Even if it means waiting for someone else to ride up with you, do not let your fears be bigger than you are. These are just a few simple steps to overcoming your fears. And I can't express this enough. Action, action, action. Whether that's just a small action. Sometimes some people are just so afraid of talking to people, or so many people are afraid of just like getting on the phone, or so many people are just afraid of, the whole business, or you may be afraid of just going out there and risking it, taking a risk. Investing in your time into another system, another program, another person, a mentor, a coach, and they can invest into you, building a relationship. Whatever it is, whatever that is, take action. Whatever you fear, take action and say, you know what? I'm going to slowly solidify myself away from that fear. And all of a sudden what will happen is your comfort zone will actually increase. Because you keep growing and you get in the uncomfort zone. You're uncomfortable. And all of a sudden that's where you start really changing and really impacting others. Guys, go out there and take action today. Go out there and acknowledge your fear and say, hey, fear, I don't fear you anymore. I am no longer a slave to fear. And I can go out there and I can break those chains and go out there and accomplish great things in my life. Guys, go out there and do it. Take care.